Guys, gals, and pals, welcome back to Paint and Talk episode 13. Unlucky number. Maybe we'll discuss that today. We won't be discussing that at all, but we could discuss that. As always, I hope you had, I hope you've been fine since the last time I've seen you. Me personally, it has not been a full 24 hours since the last time I've seen you, as it usually is, because I'm actually recording this right after the last Paint and Talk you saw. I'm gonna do that for just a little while because I realized I need a little bit of a buffer in there. I had a little bit of one before, but because of the holiday season and stuff and just doing things with friends, it kind of went away. So I realized I kind of need a little bit because you don't want too much of a buffer because then it gets what if I record a month buffer and then something crazy happens. I don't know, something huge happens and everyone's like, why isn't he talking about that thing? You can't really be doing that. You can't have that happen. So I want a solid week though, just because having no buffer is really a dumb idea. Because what if I get sick? My voice was gone 2 weeks ago and it could go again tomorrow. I have a weak voice. So yeah, I'm not a full 24 hours after I was last time, but we're here anyways, and it's been 24 hours for you. So I hope you're fine. I hope you did it right. I hope it wasn't all it's chalked up to be, but I hope it was fine. For today's painting, I want to I think I want to replicate the style that I did in Paint and Talk 11, where it's kind of this figure that's just made out of very solid shapes in kind of this rough way. I really like the style, and I want to try and do it better this time, because I think that was good. I actually really like that painting. It's probably personally one of the favorites that I've made so far in this show, in the long 13 years we've had together. But I feel I messed it up with the blue background because it smudged the colors a little bit. So I want to try and do it the way I imagined today here, and maybe that'll be by keeping the white background. But in full transparency, if I have to stall for time, it won't be in the white background. It'll be with a gray background, and I'll just have to ruin it because, we're running a show here, not a painting service. And these paintings don't get sold, so there's no client except you guys, and you want 30 minutes, I have to do the monkey dance for 30 minutes, but, sorry. No, but in all reality, I do want to just try and develop the style a little bit more. I've been thinking a lot about style. I got a comment about it that I thought was really interesting, where they were going a lot of abstract painters can't paint realistically. Basically, from what I understood, the comment was kind of a way of saying you could just paint abstract or in a style and it's fine. And it really got me thinking about developing style because I don't have one in mind. I really don't. I'm not a very stylistic person in terms of my drawings even aren't. I wouldn't say I have a super defined style in any of these things, And I think style is something I see is so hard to develop. Maybe I lied a little bit about the drawing. I think thinking of my drawings, I think I do have at least a semblance of a style. But, it's something that takes a long time to develop. I never really sat down and tried to develop my drawing style. And I'd say maybe in the last year or so, something's kind of emerged of a style, of how I draw. And even then, it's not it's the most unique. I think I view style as such a almost like a divine thing. You know what I mean? One of those things where it's painting, you get better at it as you go. Drawing, writing, singing, making music. We all view these things, or at least I view these things as extremely linear. Of the more you do it, the better you get. To me, style is something that almost it feels God-given, the way that it's so unpredictable. And what made, and I want to read a book about Picasso soon because I don't know nearly enough about him as I want to, because he sounds extremely interesting. What made Picasso, like, who could draw paint so realistically, land on cubism, you know? Like, that, to me, it feels like that's only a type of genius that can come from either years of, like, a lifetime of hard work, or like legitimate divine intervention. I don't mean that literally. I mean that more so just in terms of, like, something, like, otherworldly, you know, is the way I almost view it. And, you know, I think the paint is getting onto my hoodie because I'm holding the palette like this. That's okay, though. This is only my favorite hoodie. Like, so when I'm thinking of developing style, which, by the way, that comment was very nice. I don't mean to single out any comment. It was very nice, basically saying, like, you can just go for something you want to go for. Two problems with that for me are, one, I want to learn to paint, like, fairly, you know, I don't need to be painting the Mona Lisa, and that's never going to happen. But I'd like to be able to paint, like, an apple, and, like, shade. I wanted to learn how to do the shading and things right, for sure. And also, just, I don't know what I want to go for, you know? And I think knowing what you want to go for is, like, half the battle, almost. And that's where, like, style is so, like, if I were to develop a style, let's say I keep going with this kind of, like, thing that I did, I'm doing this painting of this figure, and then the same with the guy in Paint&Talk 13, this is 13, Paint&Talk 11, of the guy with the pink head and the orange body, right? Let's say I do that and just keep working on that. Like, theoretically, yeah, I could make a style that could, like, you know, like, go viral on Instagram, or, like, you know, whatever we quantify style as now. Like, you could, right? But, like, also, to me, is that more or less legitimate than if I were to learn, this isn't going to happen, but, like, hypothetically, I learned to paint like a Renaissance painter, and then I develop a style of something relatively similar, but I know how to paint like a Renaissance painter, because that's also actually a comment that I got. Oh my god, I got this way back in the day. I want to say, like, this was probably, like, early in my channel, early 2024. God, it's crazy that was so long ago now. Where they were like, the difference between a lot of these abstract artists and someone like a Picasso is that Picasso trained for so long before he switched to Cubism, almost as if that legitimizes the style. And to me, which I haven't really thought about this too much, but, like, that makes sense, you know what I mean? And I can think of something similar for drawing. Like, if I'm trying to relate it to my own experience, I've been drawing since I was 6, got fairly serious around it in 4th grade, because me and my friends would do art contests. And the art contests got so intense that the teacher had to stop us from doing them. But we would do these drawing contests, and I would just search up, like, online, or, like, find books in stores, like, how to draw. And, you know, what I wanted to do was draw comic books, because I've been reading comic books since I was, like, literally, like 1. Like, I can't remember a time when I wasn't into comic books, so what I really wanted to do is that, right? And I tried to develop this style, and what I learned is that learning, like, the fundamentals of style to a degree is, like, good before developing your style. Like, I don't want to get too, you know, comic referencey here, because I know a lot of people might not, like, know all the comic artists, or a lot of the big ones, but, like, going for, like, a 90s style, in 90s comics, it's very rough line work, and the characters are so much bigger and bulkier. If you've ever seen, like, a really big, bulky superhero, it's probably from the 90s, right? And the artists that developed that style learned, beforehand, a lot of them at least, like, I know Jim Lee for sure, learned, like, classical anatomy first, so that they knew kind of what to manipulate. You know, they whether intuitively or through principles, understood the fact that, like, if you go in and manipulate the abdomen of a character, you're trying to make someone who's really fit, you know, a superhero. If you manipulate their abdomen to be huge versus their pecs, it'll create a very different silhouette, you know? And that's a very, like, you know, whatever example. But to me, I've always thought that was made a lot of sense, of, like, learn the fundamentals and you'll know what to manipulate. And I think of this story, which I don't even know if this is a real story. I think I heard this in, like, some YouTube video years ago. But I heard the story of Picasso, where someone found him in a cafe and they were like, "Can you draw on my napkin?" And when he draws on it and he goes to hand it back to them, He was like, that'll be $50,000, like, you know, $1 million, or whatever he says. That's my Picasso voice. I don't know how he actually sounded. Be like, that'll be $1 million, sir. That's how I imagine anyone in the 1900s to talk. But yes, up till the 1980s. And like he said, because sorry, completely lost my train of thought for that story. But he said like that'll be $1 million or whatever. You know, Picasso said in his Picasso voice, and the guy was like, that took you 5 minutes, and he goes, no, it took me 50 years to make that in 5 minutes. Is this story true? I don't know. Maybe he just drew a fish, you know, like maybe it was something a literal child could draw. But I always took that story to mean like, you know, it takes you a long time to know how to do something small, you know? And that's definitely what I found to be true in my practice of like drawing, right? In like, what's like it called when you do comic book style stuff? Because that's kind of what I draw a lot of the time. And, you know, anime and manga influences just as much as Western comics and 90s comics, and it's turned into sort of this unique style. But like, I learned some fundamentals of anatomy beforehand. I'm no, like, honestly good realistic artist, to be, you know, completely honest. But like, I'm definitely not great. But like, I could draw a properly portioned human, and that taught me how to like manipulate things to be able to draw correctly, almost like a One Piece character. That's actually a great example, is One Piece. So I'm sure you all know what One Piece is. Huge manga series. If not, search it up. Pirate King, Luffy. And when you search up One Piece, the characters are super cartoony looking style. But if you look at like some of the author Oda's other work, he can paint, again, not like Da Vinci, but he can paint realistically. Like, he knows what he's doing. So these are things that have made me kind of think like, style is definitely something that needs to be learned over these huge swaths of time. And it's something I believe, for sure. I guess another place, actually, where style is definitely like you know, where I could go to say, like, you know, I learned style. Is that how you'd say that? Like, I developed a style. Another place in which I have experience there is with YouTube. You know, when I'm talking about art on my channel or here on Paint and Talk, I definitely talk about it kind of like when I say art, you know, usually I mean painting, drawing, writing, music, all these things. But YouTube definitely is art because it takes a lot of creative action, creative decision. You know, I think it's almost a medium of art to make YouTube videos. Not all of them, I guess, but some, for sure. And I definitely have developed a style. I mean, if someone's watching this that's been watching even my channel since like early last year, like say, you know, since the one video I had that did really well comparing Love Sosa and Michelangelo's David, my style has definitely developed since then, you know? And even going back further to my first ever YouTube channel where I really like I've been doing YouTube since I was like a kid because, you know, I'm a Zoomer, but you know, I definitely like have one channel which Dice Head 27 I mentioned in videos before, where like that was like my first real channel. I don't know if that makes any sense. I might be getting too like technical with it, but like you know, like I had channels where I uploaded as a kid. Like that was the channel where I was really like, okay, this is my YouTube channel, and I gained subscribers and all that. And if you go back, I think the big problem with that channel, looking back now, a lot more experienced, I guess. Yeah, more experienced. It's been a couple of years. I've worked on videos since. The big thing that I'd say I was failing on that channel with was I wasn't really developing. From video to video, I would kind of just keep doing the same thing, and some things naturally developed, as they always will, you know. I definitely got better at talking, for an example. Things like that just will happen no matter what, if you're doing something every day. But like, I never developed the editing of it, or the structure, or I never tried to innovate with any of it. And you know, I don't want to act like I'm innovating these days either. I'm not an innovator by any means, but like, what I try and do now at least is like, how can I make this better than the last one? It's just the question I feel like it's important to ask. And you know, that's how you develop style, in my opinion, is like, how do I make this better than the last one? At least in YouTube, you know, thinking about it, I think with paintings that could be different, because what does it mean to be better than the last one? With YouTube, like, I feel like I've consumed so much YouTube that I know, like, this video is better than the last one, at least marginally, you know, like, there are more, I think, objective metrics with a YouTube video than with a painting, you know, camera quality, audio quality, these things of like, I need to get better with these, editing, retention, things like that. YouTube's much more of a numbers game than painting is, and that's an understatement even, but, you know, I think that's helped me develop my style on YouTube a lot, and just like trying to be unique. I guess maybe, because like if I'm trying to use the YouTube analogy of how do I develop style, I think, personally, I do like the style of video I do now on my main channel, and here, I think this is, you know, this is something where I kind of just like played around with it a little bit. I wouldn't say this is like groundbreaking, but on my main channel, I did put a lot into that style, and I do like that quite a bit, of using the camera, you know, layovers and all that, and I think, like, the two things I did to develop that, one, I had the background of doing the first channel for like 3 years, but two, I also had the, like, just this last year of 2024 is really where it developed. If you look at my first video versus the last one in 2024, huge difference, because I really did try and develop it over the last year. All I did was try and improve every day, and also be as honest as possible. Now, here's the thing, though, where I think this could be different, because based on that, I would say, okay, that's all I have to do to develop a really great style with painting as well. I just gotta be honest, and I gotta try and be better than yesterday. Two things I'm already doing, for sure. Maybe, theoretically, I guess you could say, I think like a style would develop out of that. I think if I just sat here this whole year and just tried to go straight forward and just kept being honest and try to make it better than yesterday's, I think I'd have something by the end of the year. I do. But, like, I feel like it's different almost, because the technical skill of making a YouTube video is a whole different ball game than the technical skill of, you know, painting. So much more goes into this than an editing program. For me, the technical skill of YouTube was knowing what all the buttons in Final Cut Pro do, and knowing file formats, and knowing how to get the best audio quality, making sure the lighting is good. That was really the technical skill, and the rest of it is just, what can I think of? What's the coolest thing I could do right now in this video to make the, and I'm talking editing purely, of like, what could I edit this to be to make it cooler? That stuff's not any skill, that's more just ideas. How good are your ideas? How cool can you think of? And, you know, some channels definitely stick to a formula more so, of like the average video essay, where it's like very 1-2 punch kind of thing, which works much better for retention than what I do, trust me. They get so many more views, but you know, I think personally, I like kind of the way I do it, where it's like trying to make it a little more unique, trying to make it more of a unique thing. And a lot of that does come down to the ideation. You know, I do have, I feel like I'm just talking about, you know, myself here so much, but I definitely do have the technical skill to make one of those videos if I wanted to. Like, I understand the editing techniques they use. I've, you know, have some of the templates. Like, it's not hard, but like the ideations, in my opinion, where the cool stuff comes with editing. Paintings, I could come up with ideas in a style that like can work. For an example, this is supposed to be a very rough guy looking over his shoulder, and in my opinion, so far, I think this looks really cool. I think this is a really cool painting. You know, as long as I don't ruin it in the next 10 minutes, it's going to be one of my favorite paintings I've made in this show. I think this is awesome, but it's awesome sort of by design. And I've wrote this in the caption a lot of the Instagram things I've thrown up on Instagram too, of like if a painting's been good so far, it's been because it's allowed to be good, not because I have the skill to make it good. So this, you know, the rough lines around the back, right? That I don't have, the truth is, like, I want those lines to be rough, yes, but I also don't have the skill to make them not rough. So as much as this is good, it's inherently limited because I can't make it different. And I think that's where it's like, it's so different. So I think I need to do more to develop a style than just, like, I think the technical skill is important because I could develop a style like this, but it'll inherently be a limited style in comparison to if I could make those lines clean, if I could make his head perfectly proportioned. Because then it wouldn't be good by accident or by design, it would be good by pure intention and nothing else. And to me, I feel like that's the real goal. And I don't think I'll ever be there with painting. Definitely not this year, probably not next, and like probably not even in my lifetime, just because it's genuinely such a hard skill to learn to paint realistically. You know, I think maybe I could do like an apple, because that's just like a sphere, right? But outside of that, like I really don't think I'll be able to get too amazing at it. I'm gonna try, of course, but like unless I were to go to school for it, I don't know if I could. Comment below, actually, have any of you learned to paint like just on your own, very realistically? Like, is that a thing? Because I'm definitely gonna try, and honestly, I'm so headstrong that I do believe I could do it. Like, I think like if I put in the work, I could, as long as I have enough time over the next 3 years to paint. I could, but let me put it like this, actually. Like, I think if this series does well enough that I could keep painting every day, and like make it into something where I have like, not me, I don't think this will be my job. That's a huge goal. That'd be like the dream. But as long as I have enough to justify spending 3 hours a day on this, in terms of just like, people like it enough. It doesn't even, money's great, obviously. We all need money. Let's not try and pretend. But even if it's as simple as like people really like it, there's definitely an audience for it, something like that. As long as if I could justify putting in the time through this, then I think I could perhaps learn to paint realistically. But I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be able to come up with a style quite as legitimate as like if I, just in general. I don't know. I don't know if I have the grits to paint. And then is that like, which by the way, I feel like I feel like the last like 2 minutes of that sounded really weird. Because on the one hand, I was like, I'll never be able to paint realistically. On the other hand, was like, I could. So it sounds like I just had like a complete bipolar, like down then up. What I mean more so is like, I don't think it's realistically going to happen. I think every human has the ability to paint very realistically. I do believe that. It's more just the time put in. And as for like developing a style, oh, and also, sorry, I'm prefacing my past stuff like twice now. That's kind of annoying, but I'm not gonna quit ever, by the way. I feel like that sounded weird of like, I don't think I'll ever get there. I don't mean that. I'll paint this 100 times. Like, I think this is really cool too. But in terms of what like in terms of being a master painter of some sort, I don't think so. I really doubt that's gonna happen. Because I don't know. I can't imagine it personally. Maybe I should try and think a little more, what's the word? I don't know why I'm doing this as if like you're gonna tell me. A little more ambitiously. Maybe I should think a little more ambitiously. I think like a good goal for this year would be to be able to paint like a really great apple. Because that'd be really cool. But I have to learn how to actually control the brush stroke first, For now though, this is cool too. I think this is really cool. And that's like the thing is like, I think so for a while when I started YouTube this year, I struggled with the idea of like YouTube can't be art because I'm inherently limited by an algorithm. Like I'm making art in videos, like I do believe videos are art, right? I've said that a million times now. But it inherently, it's kind of a lesser art form because it's subject to an algorithm, no matter how I cut it. And, the conclusion I kind of came to, I want to say halfway through the year, was dancing in a box is still dancing, That is to say, like, it can still be art no matter how limited it is. Even tying it into what I was just saying earlier in here, when Picasso drew on that napkin handed to the guy, it wasn't any less of a Picasso because it was on a napkin. It was still a Picasso. And, all of us are still artists, even though our art happens to be on YouTube. At least that's the way I see it. So, kind of playing devil's advocate to what I just said, that I think I need to get really technically skilled before I can develop a very legitimate style. Something I do believe. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. There's always room for that. I'm a very indecisive person. But, you know, right now I think that. So, kind of playing devil's advocate to that idea, could I dance in a box, right? This painting, could I make this style, but have a painting that has dense meaning and still make it great painting? I personally think I could. I'm just more limited because a lot of the times, not to like, you know, oh, I come up with great painting in my spare time, but sometimes I will be walking around and be like, that'd be a really cool thing to paint. But I am like, I can't do that, right? Over time, let's say I keep doing that for a year. Maybe over that year, I probably think of, let's say, a painting a day. I think about, right? I think of a painting a day when I'm just walking around. Over the course of a year, let's say I think of 10 really amazing paintings that I can do. Like, I'm lucky enough that they're great and they're at the level where I can do them. That's still 10 great paintings. Does it make you less great of a painter if you have 10 great paintings rather than 20? Yes, right? Like, numbers-wise, that just makes sense. So that's all to say that, like, I think I can still make something really cool without the technical skill, but I really do crave that technical skill. And I'm going to try and develop it in this series because I think I want to be less limited, you know? I don't want to have to, I want to be able to say, you know, I thought of 365 great paintings this year and 200 of them turned out great. That'd be really cool to say. Instead of like, I thought of 365 paintings this year, I could only do about 50 of them and like 10 were really cool. One of those things I desire a lot more than the other. And I don't know, I think that's just, I feel like that's a very innate thing with art too, is to desire it to be better. Yeah, this is mostly done. I definitely stalled a little bit. I don't think it was necessary to make all the brush strokes going downwards on it, but I wanted to do it because I really liked the way it came out. I didn't want to do a background on it, and I'm happy I did. I really like this. I think this is really cool. There is paint all over the arm of my hoodie, but that's okay. I'll fix that. It's only my favorite hoodie, you know? Anyways, this is the complete painting. As always, you guys know the drill. Check the Instagram to see it, you know? I did want to say, I don't think I did the best in today's episode. I definitely think I was a little, like, one, all over the place for sure, and two, like, I just wasn't able to convey my thoughts as well. Recording for an hour definitely is a lot harder than recording for 30 minutes, you know? So, unfortunately, it is the nature of things. I gotta stack up some episodes, so the next, like every other episode for the next, like, 3 days might be a little bit like this, and I hope that's okay. If not, tune in for every other one, I guess, for a while. But yeah, I feel like I also came off as cocky, saying I could eventually become a very good technical painter, but I hope I didn't. Only if I put in the time to do that. I don't think that's gonna happen overnight. So, anyways, that's enough prefacing. It's a bad paint and talk if you got to apologize at the end of the paint and talk. So I'm gonna quit that now and say go check out this painting. I think it's really cool. And for today, what should we do? Till I see you in 24 hours. Comment your favorite style. Like, wait, how do I say this? Comment the painter who's your favorite stylistic painter. Like my favorite style is Picasso. Comment the painter with your favorite style. Comment your favorite styled painter. Comment the painter whose style you like the most. Comment the painter whose style you like the most. That's the one. Comment the painter whose style.